Hyakkimaru's estranged brother, Tahomaru, has a bad case of the crabs. The demon slicing and dicing continues in another exciting episode of Dororo. I'm going to go ahead and put up that spoiler warning. I'm also going to say that this review is going to be very short because I'm running very low on time, but I wanted to give my quick thoughts about this episode. An episode which is honestly kind of interesting as we finally get away from Hyakkimaru and Dororo, and we focus on his brother, Tahomaru. And this episode actually does a pretty good job of fleshing out his character and making him seem a little more two-dimensional. What I really love about this episode is that initially from the intro of the show and the things that they were building up, it made it seem like Tahomaru was going to end up being something of a villain, and he probably is still going to be something of an adversary for Hyakkimaru, but this episode actually paints him in a pretty good light. Not only is he worried about the plight of his father, he also realizes that he's doing something very strange by going after a child that was lost 16 years ago. Of course, Daigo's not going to reveal anything, and Tahomaru decides to go off on his very own adventure. An adventure which honestly feels kind of fillerish, to be perfectly honest. But again, like I said, they do a great job of actually building on his character. He actually goes to this village, which is being attacked by a giant crab. Yes, a crab so giant that it's practically one of the biggest monsters that we've ever seen in the show, and I would argue, probably the tastiest. Instead of allowing the villagers to be devoured by the mascot of Joe's Crab Shack, he decides to go on the attack, working with the villagers, where they actually manage to drain the lake, bring out this giant monster, and finish it off in the blaze of glory. He even has help from his two aides and everyone else in the village, and right as the killing blow is about to be dealt, that's when Hyakkimaru just suddenly appears from out of nowhere, and the two brothers finally come face to face for the very first time. And of course, nothing really comes of it. It looks like it's something that's going to be built up in the next episode of the series, or really this is just a tentpole for the future confrontation between these two characters. So, what's the rundown on this episode of Dororo? Very simple episode focusing on a character who has gotten very little screen time up until this point. And I'm actually kind of glad that they did, as, like I said, they actually made me care about this character for the first time. At first, I thought he was going to be a little asshole, basically just being the super spoiled brother of Hyakkimaru, but he's a character who actually manages to have a little bit of honor and actually wants to help out the people who are in his land, and I found that kind of awesome. As for the monster they battle against in this episode, it's basically just a giant crab, nothing special about it. It is kind of cool that it actually creates these giant whirlpools in which it sucks up people like a giant straw, drinking them like a big old Slurpee. But otherwise, they do end up taking this thing down. I'm wondering if they're actually going to boil it or grill it. So if you wanted to learn a little bit more about Hyakkimaru's brother, then this is the episode for you. It manages to flesh him out just a little bit more, making him a little more of a character, and also showing that he has a very tumultuous relationship with his parents, constantly trying to live up to the ideals of his father and trying to gain his affection, but also being suspicious of the fact that he's trying to find some lost baby from years ago. Overall, thought it was a pretty good experience, which is why I'm going to give this episode a solid 3 out of 5. Kind of an average episode in my honest opinion, but still one that's very watchable and something you should definitely check out if you're following the series. If any of you did watch the episode, tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more anime reviews. Hopefully next time I won't be so busy and I can give you a more fleshed out review, but really, that's just my thoughts on this one. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.